and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and today I want to show you some of the Spellbinders March 2022 club kits. I don't get everything, all of the clubs, but I will show you the ones that I do get. So first up is the clear stamp and die of the month, and this is such an adorable set. So we've got two gnomes here that are really cute, very general purpose. You can see they're not really themed for any particular occasion at all, even though the stamp set is sort of geared towards Easter and spring. You've got Easter egg and spring flowers and butterflies. But what's cool is that you can kind of dress these gnomes up for the holidays by adding some little bunny ears to their hats. So the other thing that's really cool is that we have ears in two different styles. So you can have like the floppy ear or the ear that stands straight up. And you can kind of mix and match. So you can do, two straight up ears or one straight up ear and one floppy ear or two floppy ears. So I love that there is that flexibility, and of course you've got the floppy ears. You can have them flop, inward or flop outward, because you've got the ears flopping in different directions. So you can really change up, sort of the personality and character of these gnomes just in the way that you combine and position the ears, which I think is really fantastic. And so if you want to choose as an option to get the coordinating dies, you can. So they do come with dies that will cut out all of the images and all of the sentiments too. So I think that's really fantastic that we get dies that will cut out the sentiment, because you don't always see that in a coordinating die set. Often you get the dies that will cut out the images, but the sentiments usually, they don't really include the dies to cut those out. So I think that's really fantastic that we get that. And if you're curious, this little strip here is just my way of sort of categorizing my stamp and die sets. I sort of use a combination of Jennifer McGuire's system of organization and Tina Smith's system as well. And then I add to that these little cardstock strips that are in these very neon colors that I really don't use, but they're part of, a bundle that I bought. And each color represents a different category. So orange in this case is holiday. So all of, my holiday themed stamp and die sets will have this little orange strip here, and you can see it peeks up just a little bit so that I can quickly identify it. Christmas gets its own color because I do have a lot of Christmas crafty goodies, but all of the rest of the holidays I just combine under the orange color. So next up is the small die of the month, and this is super adorable. So it may be a little bit hard to tell what you get here, but essentially this is an interactive die set, but you don't necessarily have to use it that way if you don't want to. But it's nice that we've got this mechanism die here that makes it possible for you to just create like a swinging element on your card. So if you're familiar with Spellbinders, any of their dancing range of die sets, so I think there's the shopping one, there's the dancing elves or dancing Santa, so there's a couple that they've released now where you basically put a little foam dot in the center here, and so that this is free to kind of swing and move. And the swinging element in this die set is a little bunny rabbit that you can paper piece together. So we've got the bunny's head here. We've got parts of its, I think this is like the different color that you can die cut out for its belly and sort of the inside of its ears. And then this is like the rest of the bunny. So you've got its body, some arms, and you actually do have two different options for arm positions. The arm can be in this position where it's kind of holding something, or it can be kind of just out and waving, for example. And then we have different balloons. So the idea, if you don't want to necessarily create a swinging mechanism on your card, you could have your bunny holding onto a balloon. So these long pieces here can be the strings of a balloon, for example, and you can have your bunny holding onto it. We've got some cloud dies, and this set here kind of doubles as balloon strings, or you can create an actual swing with a seat. So this piece in the center here would be the seat that your bunny can sit on and can be swinging back and forth on that mechanism. So really fun, interactive elements here, but also just very general ones too. You can just build a really nice scene because you've got some two different size clouds, and then the words are the word dies are swing into spring. So pretty cute. And this color for me represents that it's an interactive card or die set. So there's the small die of the month, the large die of the month, and look how massive this die is. This is pretty incredible. I think this would be, I can measure it, this would be pretty good for a slimline card. So it's like, it's right there. It's almost fully at 8.5. So this will pretty much be the length or height of your slimline card, and in terms of the width, it's just shy, 1/8 of an inch shy of 3.5. So fairly perfect for a slimline 3.5 by 8.5 folded card. What's cool is, so you get the one die, the one really massive die that cuts out this beautiful ornate pattern, but you can see here there's some gaps, and you see there's some floral gaps there. And as you might have noticed, we do get the individual flower dies that you can die cut out separately from maybe a different color and then inlay back in. These 3 dies are sort of like kaleidoscope dies, so you can die cut them out of different layers and then stack them on top of each other and have different colors peeking through. So as you can see, this one, which is more solid, would be your bottommost layer, and then as you work your way up, you get to this one, which is has more fine details, so larger gaps. So when you die cut these out and stack them up, it's going to cover a portion of what's underneath, but what's underneath, there's going to be some of it that is still showing. So that's sort of the nature of the kaleidoscope dies. But as with any other kaleidoscope die, you can always just use them individually too. There's no specific absolute way to use them. So if you kind of like how that looks when you die cut it, you can just use it on its own, or use that combined with one other of the flower dies out of the 3. So you don't always have to use all 3. You can use them individually, mix and match 2 of them, or if you want, use all 3 of them. And then if that wasn't enough, we do get additional flowers and leaves. So there's this single die, which cuts out 2 size flowers with their centers, and they coordinate I'm guessing. I haven't matched it up to be certain, but I'm pretty sure they would probably coordinate with the flowers that are built into the design of the larger plate. And we also get some leaves as well that you can use to kind of fill out, or you could almost sort of decoupage, sort of layer these things up so that you can die cut them out of a different color cardstock and then layer right over top of your base. So love that they've included so many different options, and I love that there are separate dies for these, because when I see a die that's so ornate like this, my first instinct is to, want to die cut and then inlay those back in. And I love, for example, you've got, this is a flower right here with some leaves, and I would be tempted to do some die cut inlaying to really bring out and add some color to this die cut. But it's nice that they've just left this open and given us the dies so that we can fill that in and give it like a totally different look. And it's just convenient to have these as separate dies too, so that you don't have to kind of piece in really small little dropouts that fall out of your die cut. So I think that's really cool. This is a huge die set, and I love that they're making things with a lot of different card sizes in mind. So really cool that that this is designed for your slimline size cards, but you could this is pretty snippable though. So if you wanted, you could maybe find a line through here that you can snip it down, maybe that section there. And I think that would give you a nice size panel that's right around the 5-inch mark. So that might be a nice size panel for a USA2 size card as well. So kind of look for, a nice line where you can just snip off, some excess and maybe use that as a different portion of a card. And especially because we do have these separate floral images, anything that you snip off that isn't like a full flower, you can always cover with one of these die cuts too. So I think there's a lot of versatility in this. I love that it's the larger size, because a lot of times it can be harder to kind of add on when you have a smaller decorative die. But when you have something larger, it can sometimes be easier to actually snip it down to the size that you need. So that's an amazing set right there. And then the last club kit that I have is the APG die of the month. And again, this is another massive die set. So you can see how large it is, and the fact that I had to add an extra little strip for the additional flowers and leaves that we get. But this is another gorgeous and very ornate and detailed sort of frame, nested frame, because I'll show you all the different elements and how this is kind of broken out, because it's fantastic. And let me measure it, because this won't even fit on a 5x7 card. So if you like to make large cards, this die is for you. So let's see, tip to tip, this is 7 1/8, maybe just shy, like 7 1/16 of an inch is the height of the outermost frame. And if I go, the widest is 5 inches. So you could maybe squeeze it onto a 5x7 card, but you're going to be hitting the edges of your 5x7 with this. So you may, if you like to see a little bit of a matte layer or border around your card so that you've got a little bit of your card base that extends beyond, then you're gonna probably want to make something more like a 6x8 card, or you know, somewhere in between. I think 5x7 is gonna be a really, really tight fit if you want to use this outermost frame. So we do get the outermost frame by itself. Then we get this decorative die, which when I look at it, it does look like it cuts the outer edge. So this will cut the outer edge. So that when you die cut this, it will remove it from whatever piece of cardstock you're cutting from. However, it does not cut the inner edge. So you can see that there are gaps in the cutting line. So that's how you can tell whether it's going to cut into your card or cut out of your card. So we've got some elements that will cut, and you can see there's a gap here. So this design will stay attached to the center portion here. But if you follow the outside cutting edge, it does go all the way around, or at least it appears to. So so you'll get this nice frame element, and this might fit a little bit more comfortably on a 5x7. Let's measure it to know for sure. Yeah, so this is gonna be 6 7/8. And this is 4 1/8. So pretty tight fit, and but you could fit it. So then you have that as its own element, and then inside of this, if you wanted to cut this out as a frame, then you do have the inside aperture die, which is just a nice basic shape too. So it's really nice that we get this just as a nice rectangle die to use. So very general purpose. And in fact, you know, this size would be good if you make it mini albums, because imagine doing a mini album where that's the frame and then you put the photo in the inside of that. So let me measure this. So see if you use it that way, how large of a photo can you get in there? Oh, this is perfect. So this is 4 1/16 by, oh, just shy of 3. Oh man, that could have been more perfect. Okay, so this is 2 and just shy of 2 7/8. It would have really been perfect if this was a 3x4 opening, because that's sort of a standard size of photo. And if it's not, it's certainly one that I use a lot because I have the Canon selfie printer, so I can print out photo quality pictures at home. And on one, standard 4x6 photo paper, I can actually get 2 3x4 photos, which I often do for my mini albums. So a 3x4 photo will still fit in here. It's just not quite the same ratio, and this is a little bit taller than 4 inches, but it's close. You could make it work. You could definitely make it work. So then that's one option. You can use sort of this larger frame, but then it continues to nest downwards and smaller. So we have this outside cutting edge rectangle, and then we've got, this is a decorative design die that cuts into your paper. So it does not have an outer cutting edge, and it does not have an inner aperture cut line. All of this just cuts in this decorative corner detail into your paper. So we have a separate outside cutting edge, and we have a separate inside cutting edge. So you can definitely get die cut out of different colors of cardstock and using different combinations of these 3 dyes to kind of layer up and get some different colors to kind of peek through underneath and behind. And then it continues to nest down even further. So then you have, and that's gorgeous on its own. So you could put, you know, a sentiment right in the middle there, and that would be really nice. But if you want to continue to layer this up, we've got, I'll do it separately over here, but it all nests together. So this set of 3 is similar to this set of 3 here, where we have this gorgeous design here, and I love that there's 2 kind of little heart shapes on both ends here, which is really nice. So you've got that cuts into your card. There is no outside or inside cutting edge. We get those as separate dies. So we have that die that will cut out the outside cutting edge, and then we have a nice oval die that will cut out the inside aperture. So really, really gorgeous, beautiful. I love that we get all of these as sort of separate pieces, and so you can layer up, cut from different color cardstock, layer them up, and create different looks. And I like having some of these larger dies that they're giving us this month. It's really fantastic, especially if you make cards that are larger. It's really nice to have these large pieces that can really be the focal point on your card. But, you know, this nests all the way down to, you know, something that's really small. You can fit some of these designs on tags even, and that would be fantastic. And so this will work for your smaller cards too. And of course, you saw a peek of this. There are 2 different shaped flowers and a couple of different leaf dies as well. So we get that too in order to kind of decorate and add some embellishments to your frames here. So these are the 4 club kits that I'll be working with this month. So you'll see in a separate video. I don't know how many videos I'll be making, but I'll have separate projects and tutorial videos when I craft with this month's Spellbinders club kits. So when those go public, I'll go ahead and link to them in at the end of this video, and potentially in the cards in the upper right hand corner, and or in the description box below. So thanks for taking a peek of this month's club kits with me. I hope that you are doing well, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.